In the history of television, actually not in the history of television, in the history of Futurama, it's in the top 5.
Summers, I will wait for you till
Here comes Futurama. Remember staying up late to catch Futurama? That pizza delivery guy frozen for 1,000 years?
Pizza delivery for, icy wiener. Here's to another lousy millennium.
Waking up to deliver packages with a one-eyed mutant and an alcoholic robot?
It's the mystery of the missing ring. This calls for a drink.
That show wasn't just sci-fi comedy. It was existential philosophy wrapped in dick jokes, smuggling devastating emotional gut punches between references to Star Trek and mathematical theorems. Today, we're counting down 20 jaw-dropping facts about the show that proved animation could make you laugh and cry in the same scene. If you thought you knew everything about Planet Express and the crew, prepare for the truth. Good news, everyone. 20. The Math PhD Writing Room. Futurama's writing staff included multiple PhDs in mathematics, computer science, and physics.
2D cleanup drawing that the artists upstairs do, and then basically the drawing comes down here.
They weren't just comedy writers. They were legitimate scientists who deliberately packed episodes with complex equations, scientific jokes, and mathematical theorems. The show created actual new math theorems for plot purposes. No other sitcom has ever required a doctorate to fully understand background gags. The writers were genuinely overqualified.
Futurama, I think, is that if you love science fiction, this is going to be heaven, because this has
Using advanced education to make fart jokes scientifically accurate. 19. The Head Museum's existential horror. The Head Museum preserved historical figures as disembodied heads in jars, conscious and aware, but trapped forever without bodies.
You just made my list.
It was presented as a tourist attraction, not tragedy. Lincoln, Washington, and countless others existed as carnival exhibits for eternity. The show treated immortality as curse rather than blessing, showing famous people reduced to sideshow curiosities who couldn't die, couldn't live, just existed indefinitely in glass prisons. That's body horror disguised as background world building, immediately establishing Futurama's dark philosophy about consciousness, mortality, and technological advancement's unintended consequences. 18. Cancelled 3 times, survived twice. Fox canceled Futurama after 4 seasons in 2003.
Yes, I'm afraid the brainless drones who run the network canceled our license.
Comedy Central revived it in 2010 for 4 more seasons, then canceled it again in 2013. Hulu brought it back in 2023 for more seasons. The show has died and resurrected more times than Kenny from South Park. Each cancellation devastated fans who watched the crew say goodbye, only to return years later. Futurama's entire existence has been about refusing to stay dead, mirroring Fry's own journey. 17. The Fry's dog episode destroyed everyone. Jurassic Bark remains one of television's most emotionally devastating 22 minutes. Fry discovers his fossilized dog Seymour waited for him outside the pizza shop for years after Fry disappeared. The final montage showing Seymour growing old, still waiting faithfully, crushed viewers worldwide. It's a children's cartoon about a dead dog that made grown adults sob uncontrollably. The episode weaponized loyalty and love, proving Futurama could deliver emotional devastation between crude jokes about Slurm and Zoidberg. 16. Billy West voiced half the cast. Billy West didn't just voice Fry, he also voiced Professor Farnsworth, Zoidberg, and dozens of recurring characters.
Oh, sure. Smash the smart guy's machine.
The man had conversations with himself constantly, switching between wildly different voices seamlessly. West's vocal range meant entire scenes featured one actor playing multiple characters interacting naturally. Few shows have ever relied so heavily on one voice actor's talent. West essentially carried the show's audio identity while making it seem like a full ensemble cast. 15. The Futurama theorem was real math. For the episode The Prisoner of Benda, writer Ken Keeler created an actual original mathematical theorem to solve the plot's body-switching problem. The Keeler theorem is legitimate mathematics that didn't exist before the episode. Keeler proved his theorem, and it's now cited in academic papers. A sitcom writer invented new math to make a joke work. That's the most Futurama thing possible, using postgraduate education to justify cartoon characters swapping bodies through rigorous mathematical proof. 14. Bender was originally designed to fail. Bender's character was deliberately designed as irredeemable, a selfish, alcoholic, kleptomaniac robot who cared about nothing but himself. The writers planned him as a comic relief antagonist. Instead, John DiMaggio's performance made Bender weirdly lovable.
And Bender walks by a window and he goes, get a room, you two!
Despite being objectively terrible. Audiences connected with his selfishness and destructive tendencies, finding him relatable rather than repulsive. Bender's popularity proved people loved watching an unapologetically awful character who never learned lessons or grew emotionally, subverting sitcom redemption arc expectations completely. 13. The show predicted actual technology. Futurama accurately predicted smartphones, video calling, smartwatches, and numerous technologies that didn't exist in 1999 episodes, featured concepts like augmented reality, genetic engineering applications, and AI integration that seemed absurd at the time, but became reality within 20 years. The writers' scientific backgrounds let them extrapolate legitimate technological trajectories disguised as jokes. Watching old episodes now feels like reading a tech industry roadmap wrapped in comedy about robot bending units and mutant sewers. 12. Zoidberg's tragic existence. Dr. Zoidberg was perpetually broke, homeless, incompetent, and desperate for acceptance, and the show never fixed his situation. He remained pathetic and unsuccessful for the entire series. Most sitcoms would have given him growth or redemption. Futurama kept him miserable, using his suffering as ongoing comedy while occasionally revealing genuine emotional depth. Zoidberg's permanent failure state was commentary on how capitalism and society abandon those who can't succeed, making his character surprisingly dark beneath the shellfish puns. 11. The Nibbler retcon was planned from episode 1. The revelation that Nibbler orchestrated Fry's freezing wasn't a retcon. It was planned from the pilot. Nibbler's shadow is visible in the first episode, years before the twist was revealed. The writers embedded the conspiracy from day one, trusting they'd eventually get to explain it. That level of long-term planning in an animated sitcom was unprecedented. Futurama's serialized storytelling hid underneath episodic comedy, rewarding fans who paid attention with details planted years earlier that paid off spectacularly later. 10. Leela's identity crisis lasted the entire series. Leela spent the show searching for belonging, raised as an alien, later discovering she was actually a mutant, meaning she'd been ashamed of her real heritage while fantasizing about fake alien nobility. Her entire identity was built on lies and internalized prejudice against her own people. The show explored this without easy resolution, letting Leela's confusion and pain persist. For a one-eyed cyclops in a comedy about space deliveries, her emotional arc tackled serious issues about identity, prejudice, and belonging. 9. The time travel mechanics were actually consistent. Despite multiple time travel episodes, Futurama maintained surprisingly consistent temporal mechanics. The writers established rules and followed them, using legitimate physics theories like the Novikov self-consistency principle. When inconsistencies appeared, they were deliberate jokes about time travel paradoxes rather than lazy writing. For a show that could have hand-waved temporal mechanics for comedy, the scientific rigor applied to time travel demonstrated the staff's commitment to legitimate sci-fi world-building underneath the absurdist humor. 8. The Farnsworth-Wernstrom rivalry's pettiness. Professor Farnsworth's lifelong scientific rivalry with Wernstrom originated because Farnsworth gave Wernstrom an A- decades earlier. That's it. An A- grade created generations of hatred, sabotage, and professional destruction between two of Earth's greatest minds. The show explored how brilliant people could be catastrophically petty, wasting genius-level intelligence on grudges over meaningless slights. It's simultaneously hilarious and tragic commentary on academic ego and how minor insults can poison entire lives when pride matters more than reason. 7. The show's casual attitude toward death. Characters died constantly and casually throughout Futurama. Background characters got killed for jokes, then were forgotten immediately. The crew attended funerals regularly. Death was treated as mundane, not tragic, a natural consequence of living in a universe that didn't care about individual survival. This wasn't South Park's shock value deaths. It was existential acceptance that mortality was ordinary and unavoidable. For a comedy, Futurama's relationship with death was surprisingly philosophical, treating mortality as background radiation rather than dramatic event. 6. Amy's character was deliberately subversive. Amy Wong appeared as ditzy comic relief but was secretly the show's most accomplished character. PhD candidate, skilled engineer, heiress to enormous fortune, athletically talented, and fluent in Martian. The writers deliberately subverted dumb blonde stereotypes by making Amy brilliant and competent while letting other characters underestimate her constantly. She succeeded, despite everyone treating her as shallow, and the show never made a big deal about it. Amy's understated competence was quiet feminist commentary, hiding underneath jokes about her dating life. 5. The Slurm Factory Horror. The Slurm episode revealed the addictive drink was actually alien slug secretions, and everyone kept drinking it anyway because addiction trumped disgust. It's a body horror comedy about how capitalism markets biological waste as luxury products, and consumers don't care about truth when substances feel good. The show took aim at corporate manipulation, substance dependency, and willful ignorance all at once. Slurm became a recurring joke, but the initial revelation was genuinely unsettling commentary about what people will consume when properly marketed. 4. Hermes' near suicide was played seriously. Hermes attempted suicide after feeling worthless, and the show treated it with surprising gravity. His depression wasn't a punchline. It was a legitimate mental health crisis, given emotional weight. The resolution didn't mock his pain or trivialize suicidal ideation. For a comedy featuring bureaucrat jokes, that episode acknowledged depression's reality without making light of it. Futurama proved it could handle serious topics respectfully while remaining funny, balancing tones most sitcoms wouldn't attempt for fear of ruining comedy with actual sadness. 3. The Fry-Leela romance took 14 years. Fry and Leela's relationship spanned 14 real-world years from pilot to series finale, outlasting most actual marriages. The slow-burn romance survived cancellations, cast changes, and network shifts. Their relationship had realistic ups and downs, breakups and reconciliations, growth and regression. Most TV couples get together and break up for manufactured drama. 2. The Luck of the Fryish emotional devastation. Luck of the Fryish revealed Fry's brother Yancey, who Fry thought stole his identity, actually named his own son after Fry to honor his missing brother. Yancey loved Fry deeply despite their rivalry, and Fry never knew because he was frozen for a millennium. The episode about sibling resentment transformed into a beautiful tragedy about love expressed too late. It's another example of Futurama hiding devastating emotional depth underneath comedy, making audiences cry over family relationships they didn't expect to care about in a show about robots and aliens. 1. The finale's time loop perfection. The series finale, meanwhile, showed Fry and Leela living an entire lifetime together, in frozen time, growing old and choosing to reset the universe to relive their relationship. It was a perfect closure, romantic, bittersweet, and scientifically rigorous time loop theory executed flawlessly. The final line, "Wanna go around again?" encapsulated the show's entire philosophy: life is temporary, meaning is self-created, and love makes existence worthwhile even when you know it ends. For a show that started with suicide booths, ending with eternal optimism and chosen love was profoundly beautiful. From mathematical theorems and existential dread to devastating dog episodes and time loop philosophy, Futurama smuggled profound emotional and intellectual depth into animated sitcom format and changed what comedy could accomplish. It made us laugh and destroyed us emotionally without apology. Good news, everyone. We loved every minute.